Hello everyone, my name is Thomas and welcome to the second part of the introductory Adobe Photoshop demo series. In this video we're going to be messing around with blend modes in order to give our design the spray paint look that we're looking for. If you're not up to speed on blending modes, you can head over to the extra knowledge section of our Creative Campus page where we have a couple of videos on that if you want to watch those. If not, just follow along and you'll get a feel for their purpose as we move forward. So let's get started. So to start, we're going to be changing the paint so that way it looks like it's spray painted onto the wall. To do that, we're going to go into the paint group, we're going to open up the panel, and we're going to change each individual color, and we're going to change the blending mode for that. Now the reason that I don't change the group blend mode is because we have a white background on our canvas, and we're going to be using the multiply blend mode. And as you can see, it just passes through. The color white, when multiplied, will be replaced by whatever's behind it. So while the rest of the colors look correct, we'll be changing white individually. So we'll go through. So for the white paint, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using overlay. And for the other colors, we're going to be using multiply. So multiply, multiply, multiply. Now, as you notice, you're able to see the other colors and the other color strokes through one another. So what we're going to do is, since the white is going to be the frontmost color, we're going to be using that as a guide to cut out the rest of the colors. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually change the stroke of the white background. So what we're going to do is we're going to double click stroke. It'll open up a menu. And what we're going to do is change position from inside to center. And the reason that I do this is because for what we're going to be doing in this next step, the strokes of the other colors will line up better. So just for the stroke of your frontmost color, what we're then going to do is we're going to control click the thumbnail of the white layer. You'll see that it creates an outline of the color. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the orange layer, or whatever color you have. We're going to get our eraser, and we're going to scale it up to quite a large size, 400 or so. What we're going to do is we're just going to erase everything that's on the orange layer. With everything still selected, we're going to go to the green layer, and we're going to erase all of that. And same with the purple layer. We're going to erase all of that. And you'll see now that we have very crisp lines and none of them intersect with each other. You can't see the orange behind the white. We don't want that. We're also going to do the same thing with the toucan. So we want to get our white outline. So control left click the thumbnail. We're going to go to our toucan layer. We're going to do the same thing. Get our eraser. Just get rid of it. We don't need it. And I'm actually going to move the toucan a little over just because you could see his feathers on the outside over there. I'm actually going to undo using Control Z, and we're going to move it over a little bit just so we can get his full body in there. We'll actually have it so that way it overlaps the purple. And so what we'll do is we'll select the purple, we'll use the control left click, and we'll get rid of it over there using the eraser. And we'll also left control click the white and get rid of it over here. So now the line for the toucan has these cutouts, so that way it perfectly fits on top of the purple and the white paint. So now that we can see the wall for our spray paint, what we're going to do is we're going to change the blend mode for our toucan. But with the toucan, it's actually going to come in two phases. So what we're going to do with one is we're going to change it to multiply. And you can see we start to get some of those background details. Hello, this is Thomas from the future. I'm recording this because in my recording I forgot to explain the filters that are used, so I'm doing this after the fact. So we have our toucan, and right now we have it so that way it's on multiply, so that way we get some of those background details from the wall. So to get the look that we're looking for, we kind of want to remove some of the detail from this toucan. It's just a little too realistic for a graffiti style toucan. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of filters to get a more artistic feel. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to convert this to a smart object. I'll have a video on what smart objects are, but for this tutorial we'll just convert it to a smart object. What this will do is allow us a non-destructive way of editing the filters without actually applying them. Because if I were to just leave it as its rasterized form, just how it is when you import it, whenever I would apply a filter, it would apply it permanently, and there's no way to edit it after the fact. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert to a smart object, right click the layer, and go to convert to smart object. You'll see that we have this little icon on the thumbnail. So the next thing we'll do is we'll go up to filter, and we'll go to filter gallery. Don't go to this one up here at the top where it says Alt Control F. That applies the previous filter that you selected. You're going to want to go to the one down here under convert to smart filter, right above adaptive wide angle. We're going to go to filter gallery. Now if this is grayed out, what you're going to want to do is you want to go to the layer that you want rasterize. You want to go to image, mode, and you want to make sure two things are checked off. You want 8 bits per channel, and you want RGB color. That is the only way filters will work. If either of these are different, everything will be screwed up. If either of these are different, you won't be able to select the filters that you want. So make sure you have RGB color and 8 bits per channel. And what we'll do is we'll go up to filter, the second filter gallery if it's there. And we're going to be using 2 filters. Now right now we don't see anything just because we're in the wrong position. So if you want to see everything, you'll go down to the bottom left where you see this 100%. Click the drop down menu and click fit on screen. This will basically get everything on your canvas, or the entire size of the canvas, on your screen, and you can see the bird. So we're going to be using 2 different filters for this. We're going to want to go to the artistic folder, and we're going to be using Cutout. Now you can mess around with these settings. I found that having 4 for the number of levels, 4 for edge simplicity, and 1 for edge fidelity got the best results. This will be dependent on where on the canvas the bird is. Before I had it flipped. Before in the start of the tutorial, I had the bird facing the opposite direction with its eye over here, and I found that the eye and the bottom of this little shadow down here, this darker piece of green under its eye, it was merging into one and it wasn't looking quite right. So I flipped it over, moved it to the side, edited it a little bit, and I got much better results. So filter gallery, I want to go for Cutout 441. Here we are. When you're ready, when you've got these settings, there we are. We'll click OK, and we'll get a little less detail, which is what we want. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add a secondary filter just to add a little bit more grit to the bird. We're going to add the, we're going to go to brush strokes, and we're going to go to dark strokes. Give it a sec. And you can mess around with this. These are the ones I found work best. Either sit anywhere between 6 and 4 for balance. Works great for me. And then I found ramping the black intensity all the way up to 10 and the white intensity all the way down to 1 worked the best and looked the best. So we'll click OK on that, and we have our bird the way that I want it. If you want to mess around with the settings, more power to you. These are just the ones that I found worked the best and looked the best. But it's completely up to you. So if you want to edit these filters, say you want to go back and you're not happy with the results, what you can do is you can double click these filter gallery options, and you can go back and edit it. So this is actually in the reverse order in which you applied. So the one you applied first is at the bottom, and the one you applied last is at the top. So this one will be the cutout. If we double click, you'll see that we have cutout. We can modify the settings over there. And then this top one should be dark strokes, which it is. You can see that. So you can go back, you can modify the settings, and just click OK when you're done. That'll do it for filters. We'll get back to the original video. Okay, so I've gotten to the point where I'm fairly happy with the current results. And I just wanted to explain some of the things that I did. So the toucan was not looking quite right. The eyes, this little shadow right here, and the eye itself were kind of merging together, and it wasn't creating the right effect. And I found that because of the multiply and where the toucan's eye was relative to this wall, it was having some issues separating. And so what I did was I spun the toucan around, I flipped it horizontally. You can do that using Control T, and then right clicking and going to flip horizontal, and that'll flip it back and forth. Hit enter when you're done. The other thing that I ran into, if your filter gallery is not working, if this is like grayed out, what you might need to do is go to your toucan layer, go to image, mode, and go into 8-bit channel. The only way filters can work is if you are using both an 8-bit channel and RGB color. So if you're trying to figure out what's wrong, check your images and make sure all of them are RGB color and 8 bits per channel. Okay, the next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a regroup, and with that we're going to be putting some of the wall, some of the background bricks, we're going to be putting some of that back onto our thing, because right now it's a little blown out. So what we're going to do is we're going to be creating a new group, put it above the name group, and we're just going to call this paints. And what we're going to do is take our name and our paint group and put it in. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take all of our paints and get an outline of them. So what we're going to do is, you know how we control left click to get the outline of one? Well, if you control shift left click, you can add them on to each other. So right now we have a entire outline of everything that we have, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to our brick layer and again do a Control V. We're then going to put this into our paints layer, where we're going to put it under the paint. So it should be a little scooted over compared to the brick wall, but not as scooted over as the paints. You can see that the paints are scooted over quite a lot more than you have our brick wall. Now that we have all of this together, what we're going to do is we're going to close our paint group, and what we're going to do is we're going to be doing a duplicate group. The name is fine, as we're going to be doing is converting to a smart object. This will essentially flatten all the layers into one, and you'll see that immediately our brick looks a lot better. You can see that we can see a bit more of the brick, especially in the white. The purple is a little bit out there, so I might end up changing it. But the final thing that we're going to be doing is changing the color of the toucans. So if you want to do that, if you want to leave it, that's fine. But if you want to change it, what you can do is make sure to Control left click the thumbnail of the toucan and make sure you're on that layer. You're going to go to this adjustment panel and you're going to go to Hue Saturation. And with this hue slider, you can change the color of the toucan. So I kind of want this to be on the orangey side. This kind of peachy color. So I think I'll leave it right there. Maybe mess with the saturation a little bit. Yeah, I think that'll be good. We'll close the tab group. And that's our finished toucan project. I understand that the blending modes was a little bit of a weird topic to get your belt under. In the extra knowledge video, I explain a lot better what these blend modes do and how exactly to use them. So if you want to give that a watch and come back and watch this, I'm sure it'll make a lot more sense. But that'll do it for this video. Congratulations on finishing your project. If you're interested in continuing to develop your skills in Adobe Photoshop, consider watching our Intermediate series, in which we go over more tools and how to use them, as well as our Intermediate demo series. You might also consider watching some of our other tutorials on other softwares, such as Illustrator or Premiere or Spark. But thank you for watching. You have a good one.